Welcome back to the Back You Run podcast. I am your host, Plays with Squirrels.
Plays with Squirrels? You're not gonna... That's your
I'm
full
not
name?
it's my full name. Plays with Squirrels.
Okay. My name is Dan Mayotte. I can't think of anything else that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know why Plays with Squirrels came to me right off the bat, but for those Boy Meets World fans,
Boy Eats World.
Boy Eats World. Jimmy Eat World. Oh, God. We are off the rocker already.
Oh,
Let's
yes.
do this. Yeah, it's been a minute. Welcome back.
Yeah, we promised... We didn't promise anything, to be fair, with the last episode. We said maybe...
We don't owe you anything.
We'll come out with an episode maybe not within 3 weeks or a month, but hey, it's been 3 weeks.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We've got lives. I had a birthday. It's been a whole little ride here since we last recorded.
A lot has happened.
A ton has happened, which is mostly good news.
Yeah, I mean, at least Patriots-wise, but there was also a lot of general news with the NFL the past, couple weeks.
Oh, man. It's been the NFL's in kind of a weird spot, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like any given Sunday, anyone can lose, but I think what has been surprising is the amount of off the field news. Like, there was Aaron Rodgers with the whole COVID thing. There was Henry Ruggs with that terrible crash.
Footage of that, and just truly boneheaded move on that guy's part.
It's so bad. There's no words that can describe that, you know? Him driving drunk, that's bad. And combining that with driving at 156 miles per hour, that's bad. Combining that is the most terrible thing in the world.
Yeah, he's it's not a good look. That the camera footage of it was insane.
Throw the book at him.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah, I mean, 22 years old and his career is done.
Yep.
He's over.
Indeed he is. But yeah, what else around the NFL has been going on? I saw that John Gruden might be suing the NFL.
It was because of the whole email thing, and he said some pretty terrible things in his email, rightfully so, he deserved to be fired, and I don't know why he's suing the NFL, but the Raiders are a mess right now. The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
And apparently, the Washington football team kind of ratted out on John Gruden with that email thing. And then,
oh, really?
Yeah, they did. And then Washington football team, they were trying to have the media not talk about it, so they were going to have a player's number retired, Sean Taylor, the late great Sean Taylor. And that, it's no, we still know about the email thing. All of you guys were talking about it with John Gruden.
Yeah, that whole thing's a mess. There's a lot of there's always controversies around the NFL every season, but it seems like this season has been not only crazy football wise, but yeah, all the stuff that's happening off the field since the beginning of the season has just been badness.
Right. And then we also had Aaron Rodgers pretty much lying about being vaccinated.
Yeah, he had a homeopathic remedy or something.
He's listening to medical advice from Joe Rogan. He actually said that on
Mr.
an
Rogan.
interview.
Dude, I find Joe Rogan so incredibly boring. He's not a good interviewer. He gets good guests, but he's just such a yes man that he literally just wants his guests to keep talking, and that's the entirety of his show. I don't think he's evil. I just think he's dumb.
I think he's grossly misinformed about a lot of things. Claims to be an expert on a lot of different things, especially medical, things in the medical field. And now, listen, I'm not a medical expert either, but I'm not going to go on a podcast and say I started taking these supplements and makes me feel really good, and you should do it too. It's the
kicker being that he gets kickbacks from sponsoring some of that stuff too.
That's true too. I mean, it's just the misinformation that gets to me, and I don't like that.
Yeah. So let's do what we usually do and start off the meat and potatoes with what we're drinking tonight. I actually don't know what I'm drinking. Hold on.
Well, while AJ is figuring out what he wants to drink, I'm just drinking a Brooklyn Lager.
There you go.
Standard stuff. It's pretty good. If you're ever in Williamsburg in Brooklyn, I would recommend going to their brewery. I think you do have to pay because everything in New York is money, but it's a fun time. I would recommend going to it.
Should be the new slogan. New York, everything is money.
I mean, everything is. There's in New York they just opened up this tourist island, and you have to pay money to go on it.
You have to pay to go to, like, is it literally just an island?
Yeah, it's a small little island.
What's there to do?
I don't know, but that's
Just an
I'm not doing that though. That's stupid.
It's about the exclusivity. So I had poured myself a glass already, but I did not fully pay attention to what it was. I am drinking Dark Horse Cabernet Sauvignon, a red wine, because I felt a little fancy tonight, and yeah, yeah, it's good. It's a cab. So for any of you wino type people, it's basic and cheap, but I'm enjoying it. So yeah.
What notes are you getting out of it?
There's notes of oak and dark cherries.
See, I like drinking
decent-
wine. I just don't know nothing about like
It's a
any of the notes or anything like that.
decent tannin profile. I did actually. I took a class on wine and winemaking for college credit. Oh, I know a little bit. I'm by no means an expert, but that was one of the more fun semesters I've ever had.
I mean, it's a joke course.
I mean, basically, some of those tests and stuff were pretty serious, but no, we got to tour a couple of different wineries, and we sampled I think 6 wines each class. So there was like a little bit of food that they'd have, but it was always like basically glorified charcuterie boards. So
I mean, I would
It would be
imagine it being like the match pairing. You know what I mean?
yeah, basically, it was a good way to pregame a Tuesday night. Like, welcome to college.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Although I don't think either of us can really talk, as it's 7:32 Central, 8:32 Eastern, and we're sitting here talking football and drinking. So
Yeah, but we're just having a drink. I'm sure in your wine class you did like the whole like spit thing when you're like
Nope.
tasting wine. No, really.
we had spit buckets if we didn't like it, but we were drinking.
I know that like if you go to a vineyard, like if you're tasting multiple wines, they give you like they expect you to spit.
I mean, at some places I guess they do. Every time I've gone, I've just been straight up drinking.
I mean, maybe that's just a stereotype. I've never been to a winery though.
I've only been to a few, but I've enjoyed every one that I've gone to. Wine tastings are cool.
Yeah, I mean, wine is good.
So yeah, that covers drinks. What do you wanna start with? Where did we leave off last time we talked to our lovely loyal listeners?
So the last game that we talked about was we last talked about the last Jets game.
The absolute clinic that we put on, scoring 54 points to the Jets 13.
I mean, we got pretty close to that recently.
Yeah,
But-
after putting the beat down on the Jets on Halloween, we won.
It wasn't on
against-
Halloween. It was we played the Chargers on Halloween.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On
Okay.
Halloween, we played the Chargers and beat them 27-24, which was a little close for comfort, but a win is a win.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't catch a lot of that game because I was out and about for Halloween, but I did see some highlights, and they did what they needed to do to get it done.
Exactly. I did not get to catch most of that game either, being otherwise occupied for October 31st. But the highlights that I saw made it look like, I mean, it was a big competitive game, and the Chargers are an okay team. So it's a little bit, I'd say it was a little bit nicer to pull out a win there.
I mean,
as opposed to,
they were a playoff team last year, weren't they?
I believe so.
Ugh.
I mean, last year we handed their heads to them, but this year we didn't quite destroy them the way we did last year. But yeah, it was a competitive game, and from what I saw following along on like the ESPN app and watching highlights after the game, it looked pretty good, and it was nice to get a win. Nice to get a win regardless, especially against a team that's like not the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, a pretty competitive team. That pick return by Adrian Phillips, that was a huge play.
Agreed.
I mean, Nick Folk towards the end of the game getting that field goal, kind of putting the Chargers out of reach with very little time left. So, you know,
Charger game.
What?
Chargers game was good. It was nice to not have nice to not be talking about moral victories. It's nice to have actual ones.
Yes. Because that Jets game, we should always look like that against the Jets. They are that bad.
And God willing, always will be.
Now, the Panthers game.
The Panthers game is when we started having fun, and I would argue that was we're gonna look back, and that's going to be that game is gonna be, I think, the real kind of turning point for this season. And we'll get more into a little bit of adjusted predictions and everything later on. But yeah, Sam Darnold seeing ghosts again.
Yeah, I mean, the Carolina Panthers don't trust him at this point, and that's why we later found out late last week, they signed Cam Newton back, which, can we just talk about that for just a brief second?
I've said it before on the podcast, and I'll say it again. I love a Cinderella story, and I love the idea that, Cam gets let go, and he kind of floats around in free agency, and we pick him up, and he made a solid impression up here in New England, or up there in New England, in Tennessee. I got to remember that.
For sure.
So he goes and he learns a little bit, and he went through training camp with the Pats this summer, gets let go again, and he gets welcomed back to the team that drafted him, and 2 plays, 2 touchdowns. Like, Cam's back. It's kind of cool.
I loved when he scored the first running touchdown. He's like, I'm back! I'm back! He's like yelling. That was so great to see. I'm very happy for Cam Newton. Glad to see him back playing, and it's nice to see him back with Carolina.
Yeah, I liked seeing Cam in a Pats uniform as we went. We talked about it all through last season, but there is something just right about him wearing that like black, teal, and white.
You want to know what's funny? So they released Cam Newton, brought in Teddy Bridgewater. They trade him away. They still have to pay his contract. I think they're still paying some money on Cam Newton's old contract. Now they're paying for Sam Darnold and another quarterback, plus the new contract for Cam Newton.
You really gotta love. It's things like that make you appreciate the way Bill Belichick, the GM, runs the organization. Like other teams like Carolina end up in that situation where they're paying 2 contracts for a single player. Meanwhile, we deal away Kyle Van Noy and then get him back a season later, and we end up getting draft picks for it,
right,
instead of wasting money on 2 separate contracts. Like, Bill is ruthless. It's awesome.
But let's talk about this Carolina game. So I know a lot of the talk of this game was Mac Jones' dirty play. That was like a huge point of emphasis.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I think what happened was if he's frustrated by it, like, I get it. Like, throwing, what was it, an interception, or was it like a fumble?
I think it was a fumble.
Yeah, you got sacked, lost the fumble. I wouldn't call him a dirty player.
Yeah, it didn't look great, but I also don't think, and I guess time will tell, but it seems like dirty players are usually always playing dirty.
Right, exactly.
Consistently, this seems like an honest to God mistake. Like, he thought the guy had the ball and wanted to, if he did have the ball, it's Mac's job to try and tackle him, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
So, you want to clean that up going forward. You don't want to have plays that look like that, for sure. But I don't think, I think it was kind of blown out of proportion in the media.
Yeah, for sure. Mac did enough to win. Wasn't the greatest game. But we don't ask him to do too much. We rely heavily on our running backs.
And I think that's kind of a detriment to the team, because we've seen that when Mac gets let off the leash a little bit, we have some really fun games and have like the possibility of some really fun play designs and stuff. And here's where this game is where I start, keyword start, walking back a little bit of my hatred for Josh McDaniels. So my cousin Bobby can rest easy.
Josh has been calling better games, and I think everyone is finally on the same page.
Yeah, I think it's been like, I don't think we're, fully reversing, I would argue, 3 years of really just kind of bland offensive play calling. That being said, these past 2 games, starting with the Carolina game, we really got to see that, okay, like, there's still gas in the tank there, and there's effective ways that we can use what we have in the locker room and make some cool things happen. So well done, Josh, on the Panthers game, and the Panthers game made it three wins in a row.
Yeah, and I mean, this Panthers defense is really good. They're really young. They just they're an up and coming team. I mean, Stephon Gilmore. They have Hassan Redditt, who he's been really good.
Yeah.
Brian Burns is young. That's who Mac Jones was holding on to. But Brian Burns is like a menace. He always gets into the backfield trying to get sack the quarterback. And I mean, our defense is just as good. It's better. I think our defense is playing at such a high level right now.
Yeah, I think Matthew Judon especially is just what an absolute beast of a player.
He has been the best pickup for this team.
Hands down.
Like last year I said, we have no one that can get after the quarterback. We finally have that one guy. And when Matthew Judon is double teamed, we have other players that are able to get to the quarterback and make plays.
I mean, that's what we were talking about when free agency started at the beginning of this season. Like, I think Bill sat back and, watched a lot of tape last season and realized, there's no pass rush. Our defense was just Swiss cheese, just holes everywhere.
I mean, it was good, but we were getting a lot of turnovers, but we weren't forcing teams like long third downs and like getting punts.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that even when we were getting turnovers, the offense wasn't doing anything with those.
Yeah, that was the frustrating part about it all.
It was just, it was a little disheartening to watch. And now we're getting Sam Darnold, who seemed to be doing all right with the Panthers, getting out from underneath all the baggage that comes with playing for the New York Jets. He goes to the Panthers and he looks like a little bit of a different quarterback. And then along comes Bill Belichick and the Patriots, and man, they just made him look terrible.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, and I love Damian Harris, but he can't be the feature back of this team. We need to share it more, especially with Ramondre Stevenson.
He's cooking up.
Like it. He is killing it. Give it to the hot hand. Yeah. I know Damian Harris was injured this week, but we can't have a running back average 2 yards per carry, getting 15 carries. Like, that's just not going to cut it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's just not productive.
No, it's not.
It's not a good way to win football games.
No, but I mean, we made it out winning this game pretty easily. It wasn't. There wasn't sense of worry about this game because Sam Darnold was just making way too many mistakes, looking like the same old Sam Darnold.
Exactly. So it was a trip to Carolina. Looked just fine. I wasn't mad at that. Now, in between the Carolina game and this past week's or yesterday's game against the Browns, there was a bunch of talk and a bunch of rumors. Everybody was wondering what was going to happen with Odell Beckham Jr., who got let go by the Browns.
Right.
And there were a lot of New England Patriots fans that really, really wanted him to come to us.
Now, I like Odell. I think he's a very talented player. And you put him in the slot, like the same role as Julian Edelman. I mean, Odell Beckham is one of the best slot wide receivers in the league.
Definitely.
Like, he is great. The injuries are concerning, but I mean, I didn't think they were going to have a chance with him because Odell came out and said, I want to be with a competitive team, or I want to be with a Super Bowl contending team. And Patriots just aren't that. We're not a Super Bowl contending team yet. Like,
we are.
Keyword with yet. I think we're a playoff contending team, but not Super Bowl contending.
Well, with this past week's game, wasn't it, if we lost this game, there was like a 32% chance of us making the playoffs at all, and now after winning it, we're 68 or 70% chance to make it to the playoffs? Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's been a slow burn, but I mean, this team is legit.
But the biggest beef with Odell Beckham being on the Browns, I mean, the Browns are a run-heavy team. They have Nick Chubb, they have Kareem Hunt, one of the best two running back combos, probably the best running back combo in the league, which they didn't have this week, unfortunately, or fortunately for us.
Yeah, fortunately for us.
Fortunately for us. But they were both out, and we're also a run heavy team. We don't have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, but we just pass when we have to. I mean, you look at, we only passed the ball 23 times. Actually, no, not 23 times, 26 times total over this game. We ran it 34 times. Odell wouldn't be happy here.
Yeah, he's looking for targets, and he wasn't getting them on the Browns. So after all the talk all week, we end up with Odell Beckham Jr. with the Los Angeles Rams, who are it's looking more and more like they might be buying their way to the Super Bowl this year.
They're like they look like a Madden team.
I mean, yeah.
Like, they look like a team. I mean, I wouldn't assemble something like that on Madden, but like, they got Von Miller and now they got Odell Beckham, which conveniently, I guess not convenient for them because this is kind of a big blow for them. Robert Woods just went down with an ACL tear. He's probably gone for the rest of the year. So you lose Robert Woods, you bring in Odell Beckham with like Matthew Stafford, going to be a good team.
Yeah.
And I love Mac Jones, but he's not quite on the same level as Matthew Stafford yet. I think he can be. I think he could be better than Matthew Stafford, but as of right now, no.
I mean, do we end up playing them this season? No, so not during the regular season.
No, we don't.
If we end up making it that far and it's us and the Rams, I'm concerned. But that's a talk for a different time.
Oh yeah, like I don't see us playing them.
So we're let's talk a little bit about the beatdown yesterday.
Yeah.
45-7 Patriots versus Browns.
You know, I believe especially going into this season, when we made our predictions about what we potentially saw in the Patriots and what we saw their record to be, I circled this matchup because I knew it was going to be a tough game. Browns are a great team. I still think they're a good team. They've just had some pretty bad luck this year and a tough schedule.
They are the bad luck Browns, but also, yeah, they've had an objectively. I should probably talk into the mic, huh? They definitely had a tough schedule, and they are a really good team. I don't think anybody was expecting it to be that much of a beatdown.
No.
Like that's the outside of the Jets, which of course, 54-13 Patriots over Jets. You're expecting that. I don't think anybody was expecting 45-7, like hold them to one touchdown.
Yeah.
While we just ran up and down the field and really just kind of embarrassed them. Like we looked, like I said, later on down the season, I think that Carolina game is going to really be, what people call the turning point in the season. But I think this was a statement game of like, especially after the whole Odell circus, for us to turn around and to just kind of, stick our flag in the ground and go, listen, we can hold our own. Even more so than, the moral victories that we had against the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. This was us really sitting back and being like, this team can play.
Yeah, like this game, I mean, maybe at the end of the year it doesn't matter, and maybe the Browns aren't going to make the playoffs, but going into this season, they are a playoff team, and I could still see them in the playoffs, and they would be really good. That whole AFC North is fantastic, but this is a statement win.
Yep, and I think, and you can just see it in the way that the media has talked. They started talking like it after the Panthers game, and now the whole national football media is kind of sitting back and being like, oh my god, like we're already seeing think pieces about like this is the start of the next Patriots dynasty, and oh my god, the Patriots are good again, and watch out AFC and everything else. And I mean, I know that the Chiefs looked really good yesterday again, which they haven't this season, but with the way that they were playing earlier in the season, to have the Patriots win like they did last night, you do kind of sit back and you have to be like, oh my god, like this, I think it's pretty safe to say that this team could be, as long as there's no major implosions, this team could easily make it to the playoffs. And if they can make it to the playoffs and keep their wits about them, I mean, we've seen a Bill Belichick Patriots team with a rookie quarterback this before.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest keys to this game was we had a full strength offensive line. Everyone was healthy on that line, which, I mean, Myles Garrett, he might be the defensive player of the year when it's all said and done this year.
Yeah.
He's really good. He was only able to get 1 sack, which, I mean, 1 sack is maybe not good, but that was his only tackle of the game.
And that's especially saying something after the issues that we had earlier in the season with the offensive line. We weren't going to get through an entire season and have a winning season if Mac was on his ass, every 4 or 5 plays.
Right. And the kind of pressure we were able to get on Baker, that was just 5 sacks.
So much fun.
Like, they constantly had to punt it away.
We took advantage, and there was, you could tell that there was communication, and like everybody was in on the game plan. The offensive play calling was inventive and worked really well. They had the Browns defense's number, and our defense had their offense's number. Like, everything just kind of clicked, or arguably the first time this season, maybe the second time in a row, if you look at some of the highlights from that Panthers game.
But Mac Jones was dealing in this one.
Oh, he was money.
Like, he was accurate. He was getting all the right reads out. There was one point when it was like the Myles Garrett sack, and he was just standing there, like, looking for someone to throw to, and he just stands there, and I'm like, come on, run! I'm like running. I'm yelling at my TV. I'm like, just go, and like,
just move.
Myles Garrett just like hugs him from behind,
wrapped him up.
I'm like, but that was tough. But like, there's not much to complain about this game.
Nope. In fact, there's reason for celebration. The law offices of Jacoby and Myers finally got a touchdown
In garbage time
from Hoyer the Destroyer.
Like, that's like the second time Hoyer has come into the game, like after a blowout.
Yep.
They also took Trent Brown out as well during that time, which I think is smart because he's been battling injuries all season long.
Yeah, it would be a waste to have him get injured when the game is, I think at that point when they brought Hoyer in, the ESPN app, it has the win percentage in the corner. Mm-hmm. It tells you the percentage of likelihood that whatever team will win. And I think at that point in the fourth quarter, it was already like 99.9% chance that the Patriots win the game.
Just ridiculous. And I mean,
we had them in the palm of our hand. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, 45 straight points.
Exactly. Just nothing to complain about there.
I thought it was going to be a competitive game, which, it's fine.
Hey, I'll take the win. I want to see this team just build on that. And man, how great would it be if we just run the table?
That'd be fun.
It's unlikely, looking at the schedule the way that it is. Coming up on Thursday, which this will hopefully be out before then. Thursday, we've got a primetime game against the Falcons.
Yep.
So happy 28-3 day on November 18th.
I mean, Falcons are decent this year, but I would say Patriots have the edge in this one for sure. That Titans game, like in 2 weeks, that one's going to be a tough game.
I think if the Titans get rested up and kind of buttoned up a little bit, I think that's going to be a tough one. But with some of the injuries that they've had this season and the fact that they are the Titans, I think the Falcons and the Titans are both. I think the Falcons is probably an easily winnable game. Like, they haven't made a lot of noise.
It's more winnable for sure.
Yeah. The Titans is going to be that's going to be a competition no matter what. Mike Vrabel's a great coach, and the Flaming Thumbtacks are, they've given us issues in the past, but like I said, with injuries and stuff like that, I still think that's a winnable game. The real worry comes on December 6th when we play the Bills.
That's going to be a tough one. I mean, that game is that's going to be the division. That's for like whoever wins that game is going to win the division.
Yep.
Which is huge.
But
I think the surprising thing about the Patriots this year is like we're really good on the road. We haven't lost a game yet on the road. We are more likely to lose at home.
Yeah, my only issue is that we haven't really seen Mac in like a true blue New England winter game. Never mind being on the road in upstate New York in December. Like that's going to be a real kind of test to see where the kid is actually at, because that could very easily. I mean, how many times have they talked about weather advantage when it comes to the Patriots in the winter?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if I had to venture a guess for that game, Mac is going to throw it under 20 times. We're going to run it down Buffalo's throat for like 40 times.
We're going to hope to God that Matthew Judon can do what he does in the cold.
I mean,
because we got to keep Josh Allen reined in.
Yeah, Josh Allen he's a tricky guy.
Yep. So we play the Bills. After that, on the 19th, we play the Colts. December 26th, the Bills come to Foxborough. Jaguars after that on January 2nd, and Dolphins on January 9th. The Colts I'm not super worried about. I think Carson Wentz has been hot and cold, and I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. If you're having that kind of season and you're playing Bill Belichick, the Jaguars are going to be an easy one.
I mean, the Colts do have Jonathan Taylor, who's one of the best running backs this season, so that's going to be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm feeling good after this game.
Yeah, Buffalo's really the only worry, and I think that, especially if we keep it up these next 2 weeks, I think if we do what we need to against the Falcons and the Titans, that first Bills game is going to be really tough, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's our next loss. But then playing them again on December 26th in Foxborough, I think we have a pretty good track record of, the second time that we play somebody in any given season, we've got a much better idea of what their number is and how to mitigate disasters.
I mean, that Miami game was close. It was very close. I mean,
that Miami game was very close, and we were also not, firing on all cylinders like we have for the past few weeks. So I think that also Miami has just, they've become a little bit of a mess since the beginning of the season. So I think finishing out the season against Miami is going to be a really good way to, cap off a super interesting year.
Yeah.
And then again, you can't underestimate any team in the NFL, but I don't think anybody's super worried about the Jaguars on January 2nd.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's a rookie quarterback playing against Bill Belichick. They're,
toast.
We've seen that movie a million times.
Yeah, we have. I mean, if you look at the games that we have played, we've been in all of them except for the Saints game. The Saints game was a game that we didn't deserve to win because that was just bad.
We did terrible.
But Dolphins game, we were in it till the very end. Buccaneers game, close. That Cowboys game, man, that one was tough, but we can play with them. We can play with all those teams.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a game this season where we've really sat back and been like, what the hell is happening outside of that Saints game.
Yeah, that's the only exception to it.
Yeah.
But who knows? Falcons could do a beatdown on us. Hopefully not.
I really hope not, but also that franchise and that fandom wants revenge real bad.
I mean, they won a World Series. The Atlantic curse is over.
That's true.
Be happy with that. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry about 28-3. 28-3 is always a funny meme, and
I will never ever be sorry about 28-3.
That's a funny meme.
Co-signed by meme lord in chief Tom Brady. Good God.
Oh man.
So yeah. Anything else about the Patriots this week?
Oh, shout out Ramondre Stevenson. Great game out of him, and
oh God, what a guy.
Love to see more of him. And I'm cheersing Jacoby Myers for his first career touchdown pass, or not pass, catch. Cheers.
Link. Jacoby Myers, never heard of him. And I love, oh God, Hunter Henry, just 7 touchdowns in 7 games, doing the tight end thing. We have an actual tight end in New England again, and that is a thing of beauty.
Oh yeah, those signings have made a huge difference this year.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy they're working out.
The train seems to be rolling, and I am quite happy about it.
Yeah, we're picking up momentum, and let's just see where the train leads us to.
Not a moment soon.
All right, you want to transition to something else?
Transition.
So, what do you think about the new Patriots album? Let us know what you think about it. Let me know your thoughts.
Did you love it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next?
Anyways, speaking of music and the Melonhead himself, I guess not the Melonhead himself. Let's talk about the Travis Scott World tragedy.
Yeah, catch me up on this. I haven't that's not really Travis Scott is not really in my world of music consumption and stuff, but I've seen that there was a whole lot of hoopla around that.
So Travis Scott is not really in my general listening. Like, I listen to a couple songs. Sicko Mode is a good song. That's about it. But he has this festival called Astroworld in Houston. Has had it a couple times. He runs it with Live Nation, and basically at the beginning of the day, there were people jumping the fences to get in and like stampeding the line, basically breaking in, which terrible to see that. And then when it got to his performance at like 9:00 at night, people were moving up to the stage, stampeding, people like getting going into cardiac arrest. It ended up now at this point, 9 people have passed away from this concert. And I'm trying to think. There are videos of him still performing while ambulances and medical people are trying to get people out of there who are like passing out or just dying. So there's a lot of terrible looks in this from this event. And we've both worked in like the concert space. We've both done live production of events, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough to hear stories about things like that. See a lot of people reposting on social media like old videos of even bigger bands and bigger artists in arguably bigger concert spaces and stuff, where they'll stop their show to call out security or to make sure that people are taking care of other people. And I think it's it's a bad look all around for Travis Scott's team and everything to handle the situation the way they did in the moment. And there's been a lot of reports about like shenanigans and stuff that went on during and after those events. I think I find it tough to care about the story as a whole, just because coming from the musical spaces that you and I did,
right?
Like, I would argue that there are a lot of situations that we've voluntarily put ourselves in that could be argued are more dangerous than the festival setting the way that it was there. But there's this kind of thing in the alternative and the punk community of, even when it just comes to mosh etiquette, like somebody falls, you pick them back up.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of people posting a lot of these videos from, other artists and other bands doing the right thing when put in those situations, because that's just kind of how it is. And that's being a decent person in like the live music space. So it's kind of hard to form like an opinion or any kind of outrage when you look at it and you're like, okay, Travis Scott is like one of these like modern breeds of pop star, right?
Hip hop, yeah.
And when it comes to that, you get a lot of people that are not necessarily knowledgeable about show etiquette or what situations like that can look like.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't want to sound like I'm victim blaming, because obviously I'm not, and what happened was a tragedy. It's just hard for me personally to like sit back and feel any kind of outrage just because like you're getting a lot of people going to a massive music festival that are not used to, any kind of true intensity the way that other musical outlets, I guess, provide.
Yeah.
So you look at something like that, you couple that with, just the fervor and the hunger of people that want to see live music after not being able to see it for a year and a half, and without regulations and without having like a heads up mentality, shit like that happens.
I mean, Finn McKenty...
Not to that extent.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, because like Finn McKenty, the punk rock MBA, made this point on a video. Like, when you go to a hardcore show, you're expecting violence. You're expecting to see violence. Like, it's probably the most violent scene out of metal, punk, and any other extreme genre of music. You don't expect to see violence at a Travis Scott concert. Or like a pop concert.
Which ostensibly is what Travis Scott is. So that's kind of what I was getting at, is that like the intensity of everything that was going on seems like, I think that's kind of where I lost the kind of general thread of the whole thing, is that like I'm used to that kind of intensity going to shows.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are not used to that kind of thing and would be ill prepared in a space like that. And that's something that, you know, tour management and venue security and, you know, all those other layers of checks and balances, like they need to be prepared for the worst at all times, not just when it's expected. And to have that kind of thing happen and to have it kind of goaded on by the artists themselves is just it's a really bad look.
What gets me is Travis Scott has encouraged this type of behavior beforehand. He's been charged for like disorderly conduct with his performances before. He got sued by somebody because he encouraged somebody to jump off a banister at Terminal 5 in New York. Like, he encourages people to go crazy at his concerts and to try to kill each other and do that kind of stuff. And
I'm all right with a little bit of chaos in the live music space, obviously, but I think it's kind of it's a little bit of a modern day like Woodstock 99, right? Like there's a level of just decency and respect that you have to have for the people next to you, and just because there's some dude up on the stage telling you to, you know, in this case it was exactly like Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, just, you know, going off about break stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
inciting a riot.
Yeah, there's a fine line between, you know, a little bit of organized chaos that we're used to and actual rioting, which is what seems to be the case for Astroworld.
Yeah, I have been following this story very closely just because I am in that space. I have worked in a lot of concert venues beforehand, and I know about safety, and like in every single venue I've worked at, we preach safety, number one. None of that was followed. And I guess what bothers me too is Travis Scott seeing an ambulance trying to go through the crowd to get somebody. He doesn't stop the performance. He's just standing there doing the robot. Like that's frustrating to see. Like, I've seen plenty of other videos of I've seen Billie Eilish. I've seen Little Pump, or who wrote that Gucci Gang song? Wasn't it Little?
Oh my God!
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think it might have been Little Pump.
But there was a clip of him stopping his performance and checking on somebody for passing out. We've seen Corey Taylor, Chester Bennington, all these major pop stars stopping shows for the crowd, stopping their performance to check on the crowd and make sure they're good. Travis didn't do that.
That's just it does make you kind of sit back and think, people that are there, especially for a festival like the one that he was putting on, the people are there to see you, and those people I'm sure pay a lot of money to go to an event like that, especially if they're in a general admission area,
right? Like
they were, kind of crowded in behind barriers and barricades. Those people are fans of yours, and you kind of you expect a level of human decency to begin with, but especially for a person that gets to have a stage like that, a literal physical stage that's that big and that, far reaching, with that many people in front of you, you'd think that you would give a shit about the people supporting you.
And there just wasn't that mutual respect. These people are paying money to see you.
Yeah, I think it's a dirtbag look, honestly. But again, it's hard to feel outrage or any, or have super, super strong opinions on something like this when you're coming from, I guess, kind of a little bit of a place of privilege with our musical upbringing, where that, respecting the person next to you just as much as you're respecting the people on the stage, that's the law in punk and hardcore.
Yeah.
And for that not to happen is just another kind of example of, man, we're lucky to occupy the space that we do with, our musical listening and our show going experiences, because it would suck. You have to imagine that was somebody's first concert. There were people there that that were in that pit that, you know, that's their only live music experience, and that's got to suck to have something like that happen and to turn around and like that image is kind of burned in your brain when it comes to the idea of live music, and that'll get you.
Yeah, I mean, live music is supposed to bring people together. It's not supposed to destroy that. And I mean, this isn't the only example of something like this happening. I think this is probably one of the biggest large-scale events that has happened.
Well, I had a friend growing up who, you know, there was a group of us all through high school, and we all listened to a lot of the same music, and we all used to go to shows together and play shows together and stuff. And this friend, there was a group of us that all traveled out to Albany, New York. I think it was Albany, to a place called Northern Lights, and we went to go see Taking Back Sunday after they had kind of reunited with the original lineup. And it was a tiny room for a band that was, you know, kind of reaching another peak in their career. So obviously the place was just packed, and there was a lot of energy, and it was an insane show. And he had a little bit of a similar experience where he was walking in a little bit inexperienced with that kind of energy and that kind of claustrophobia that comes with a show of that kind. And it ruined live music for him for more than a few years. It took a long time to get him to start coming to shows again and to get him to really enjoy being in that space. And I think that's probably my biggest takeaway from the entire thing, is just like, if you're in the pit, if you're, you know, part of the crowd, just have some respect for the people next to you. And if you're on the stage, like, respect the people that paid money to come and see you and support you.
Yeah.
And I just don't think either of those things really happened in this particular case, and that's a pretty severe bummer.
Yeah, and I mean, Travis Scott and Live Nation are now feeling the lawsuits, rightfully so. They deserve to be sued, and you know, Travis Scott probably deserves like 60% of the blame.
Yep.
It's his event. He sets the tone. It's his name on it. It's like when we did like all of our music industry club events, it was our name on it. So if a band did something problematic, ultimately it was on us.
Exactly.
And then part of it is also Live Nation. I mean, Live Nation was also working with Travis Scott. They clearly, I mean, they didn't hire enough security. There weren't enough. I mean, like, for example, like in one of the venues that I've worked at, for a 6,000 cap venue, there were 3 EMTs on staff. That's not a lot.
Yeah,
like,
especially not for a literal festival.
I mean, like 3 for
huge event.
3 for my venue. I can't imagine how many there were for Astroworld. And you know, it got me thinking, because I've already been trained in CPR. I've already had all the first aid experience done. I'm probably going to sign up for another CPR class just in case something like this happens again, just to have that certification. And I think venues across America, because I think this is going to be changing how a lot of venues look at shows and performers, especially performers who incite violence. Like, do you want that person performing?
Exactly. Yeah. It's I think it's gained enough kind of attention, and it's a big enough kind of platform and event that I think you start to see some reactionary moves by Live Nation and by other venues. And I think the only real negative side effect of that is just going to be, I think, some of the drama that you're going to see come out of it. You know,
no, for sure.
100 cap venues are not going to need to make a statement about the training that they're giving their 5 employees.
Oh no, of course not.
That stuff is going to happen, and there's going to be I think there's probably going to be a decent amount of kind of self-important, you know, back padding that comes out of this, which is an unfortunate side effect of the metaverse that we live in.
Hey, I don't want Mark Zuckerberg to sue us.
Don't want to get zucked.
Don't say Meta. Oh fuck, I said Meta.
Yeah, it's I think the fallout is going to be interesting, if nothing else. It's just, it sucks to see everything that's happened, and you just hope that, you know, people take the right steps to avoid something like that happening again.
I hope so.
Yeah. So moving on, there was one more kind of dark horse topic that I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit on this episode. If you're cool to transition into one more topic.
Transition.
Here we go again.
Hopefully it's something a little happier.
I wouldn't necessarily say happier, but definitely interesting on the music tip is there's a lot of reporting going on right now about vinyl shortages.
I have heard about that.
The effects of, pressing plants that are being, backed up for some of them 9 to 12 months. So if you send your record off to a pressing plant in anticipation of releasing that record, you might not have vinyl for up to a year. And a really big part of that is some of the bigger artists that have been releasing music lately and have the kind of financial backing and the kind of just business power to, basically stop that production for everybody else.
Yeah, I saw, what was it? I think it was Adele with her recent album. She pressed like 250,000 copies of her record on vinyl. There was like a report about that I saw.
So the reports that I've seen have said almost 500,000 copies are being pressed.
For Adele?
For Adele.
That's ludicrous.
And similar numbers for some of these re-releases that Taylor Swift is in the middle of.
But here's the thing though, and I like Adele. I like her music, and I'm trying to think of her typical fan. I don't think her typical fan is buying vinyl. They're streaming it.
Most people are going to be streaming that, and it's an interesting, I think it's kind of an interesting topic of discussion, because if you think about it, I would argue, at least from where I'm sitting, most of the vinyl-based, physical copy record stores that I've encountered have been either heavily reliant on, used and vintage vinyl,
right,
or it's been, punk rock alternative places like Armageddon Shop in Boston, or even to an extent down here in Nashville, Grimey's, a couple of other record stores on like Looney Tunes over on Long Island.
Right.
They were kind of an institution for Long Island hardcore. I mean,
Newbury Comics with all their vinyl pressings.
And so much of Newbury Comics is, exclusive pressings of Run for Cover records and things like that. Like there's a real focus on a lot of the independent and more underground kind of music, because those are the people that, people like us that buy records.
Right.
So from that perspective, it's kind of hard to sit back and justify 500,000 copies of an Adele LP that are going to, collect dust at an Amazon warehouse or, on the shelves that nobody touches at Target.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, and you can call me a fucking boomer for this. I don't care. So yesterday, after watching football, I was watching 60 Minutes. Big boomer energy. I know. Mm-hmm. Anyways, they ran a story.
Tick, 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 tick.
They ran a story on the supply chain and why things are taking so long to get shipped out. And because there's a delay with everything, not just vinyl records.
Yeah.
But there aren't enough people working in the port. There aren't enough truckers to supply it. There was one guy he ordered his whole Christmas order in May, and it didn't arrive until like 3 weeks ago. And now he's getting charged. He can't even get to his order because there are literal shipment boxes on top of it, like in the shipyard, and he's being charged rent for, and then he has to charge more for those toys that he has to sell. That's ridiculous. And we're at a bottleneck with probably the record or the vinyl companies as well. There aren't enough places that are pressing records, and probably not enough people that are working in those factories to make them.
And that's been true for a long time. There's been an argument from a lot of independent artists for a while now, arguing against the record store day holiday, specifically, the companies that do reissues and, big orders and represses for record store day. It's kind of an ongoing joke in the vinyl community of like, oh yeah, band X has to wait 6 months, 8 months, a year for their new record to get pressed because, Warner Music Group or whoever it is has to press another 25,000 copies of Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, and I mean,
this time on lavender vinyl.
I mean, we don't need.
Like-
I mean, we don't need that though. You can get a used copy pretty well. Like,
I dare our listeners to find a vinyl, like any vinyl shop, any of them, from big box store all the way down to your little local independent place. I dare you to go somewhere where they don't have Rumors on vinyl. Like, it's one of those staple records that everybody has multiple copies of, used or new, and it's things like that that have really bogged down, you know, that part of the music business, because who's the person that's a completionist about a record like that and tries to get it on all the different colors and everything? That's just not I don't think that person really exists. I know people are big Fleetwood Mac fans, but I don't think anybody's actually collecting all 200 something variants that record definitely has.
and I mean, there are definitely people out there that collect different variants of the same record. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
like you're one.
And that's I definitely am. There are some times where, you know, a new variant comes out, or, you know, there's a remaster or something, and yeah, you love to hop onto something like that. But a lot of the things that I do that with are records where they're pressing maybe a couple thousand at a time, or maybe total, as opposed to, you know, 500,000 copies of Adele's new album. There are not 500,000 people that are going to buy that record on vinyl.
I mean,
there's millions upon millions of people that are going to stream that record, and probably a solid few thousand that are still going to buy it on CD to put it in their cars.
Yep.
Things like that. But that just seems like a waste of money and resources for something that doesn't seem that essential, especially when there are, you know, it's one of those things where I understand that it's a business, and, you know, welcome to the wonderful world of capitalism. Like, these massive major labels and distributors have the, you know, they have the financial power to go and do something like this. But I can't imagine that that's a worthwhile use of all that money and backing up all of those plants when there's more interesting things that could be coming out. So it's that battle of democratization of music versus, you know, it's a business, so they're following where the money is, and money.
But like 500 copies, so like that's like, I like Adele. I'm probably going to, I haven't listened to her new record yet, but I'm probably going to stream it at some point. I'm not going to buy it on vinyl. And I think a lot of people think that way as well.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's a major label, major artist, and the image that I'm looking at is a double LP. That level of artist with that kind of packaging and that kind of product there, that's going to be a $40 record. Are there that many people that love both vinyl and Adele so much that they're going to pay $40 to $50 for that album? I don't think there's 500,000 people that would do that. And that's a frustrating thing as somebody that would like to eventually break into that space. It's frustrating to watch something as cool as the vinyl boom that you and I really kind of grew up in get cannibalized by something like this, basically.
There's also no scarcity with this. Like, there's no incentive to buy it. Like, if Adele came out and was like, I'm going to press 10,000 of these, I'd be like, you know what, that's a huge shipment, but like, that makes sense. That creates scarcity and people are going to want to buy that.
Yeah, that is actually an interesting point. I didn't think about it from a purely like supply and demand kind of thing. You know, that is part of the charm of being a vinyl collector, is in a lot of cases there's a scarcity. You go to record stores and you dig through the records to try and find ones that you want. Or, you know, when something goes up for pre-order, there's variants that, you know, you might want one versus the other. There's only so many, so maybe you hope that your local record store gets it. Maybe you're buying it directly from the label.
Right.
Like 500,000 copies of Adele's LP, 25,000 of those are going to be sitting in an Amazon warehouse. The other, you know, the rest of them are all going to be gathering dust at Urban Outfitters and Newberry Comics and Target and Walmart. And
like, I put it to this, like, when I've gone to a lot of record stores, like especially alternative record stores, chances are I'm always going to see the same basement record. Wish You Were Here. Wish I could stay here. Which I didn't buy until very recently. But I knew if no matter what record store I would go into, I would see that record. I was never incentivized to buy it because it's always there. Until very recently when I was like, you know what, I don't have it, I might as well get it.
Yeah.
That's going to be the same thing with this Adele record. Oh, I can just get it here. Or, oh, I'll get it like the next time. Next time comes, you're like, next time.
It's just another kind of funny thing where it just shows shows how some of these major labels are just completely out of touch with the actual consumer habits, I guess, of, you know, their fans. Like there are independent record labels that make really good money.
Yeah.
And do really well by operating on that scarcity and being able to feel out when to repress, how many to press in the first place, things like that.
Like
again, we talked about off the record last week,
right?
But, Zach Cirillo and Thomas Nassif's label Bad Timing Records, they put $1,000 in, I think, maybe together or each, to do their first couple of pressings, and were able to literally operate that purely off of the profits of vinyl records that they pressed without having to introduce any additional capital for a while. And it became a self-sustaining and actually like profitable business that way, as opposed to this where it just seems like, I mean, now major labels have fuck you money. So,
and I mean, this is going to kill a lot of small labels. Not Run for Cover, not like something like that, for example, because I think
there's plenty of established ones that I think are fine.
But like there are some that are going, like if we started a record label today and we were going to be vinyl based, this would kill it. How do you try to communicate with a band of like, oh yeah, like let's press your music. Oh, you have to wait 6 months. Like no one wants to do that.
I would argue that, I mean, seven years after we took a whack at starting a label, and granted we were dealing with cassette tapes, we had one 7-inch that we pressed, and that was lathe cut, which is a whole other almost purely independent part of kind of the vinyl industry. You know, even if we had kept Further Sky really truly alive up until this point, like unless we had some sort of massive hit on our hands that really helped us get established or something, if we had transitioned to vinyl at some point and we were still alive now, this would destroy that business.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt independent music really badly. And yeah, how do you fix that, especially when it's hard to open pressing plants? I mean, most of the vinyl that's being pressed in the world is being pressed on machines that were built in the 50s and 60s,
right,
at the inception of vinyl to begin with. And we're lucky to still have the ones that we have after, you know, CDs and digital and even to an extent cassettes kind of.
I guess if hypothetically there was a record label out there who was reliant on vinyl record sales but weren't making the kind of numbers that they wanted to, I would kind of use the same model as Triple B, where what Triple B does, and Triple B Records is, they're a record label out of hardcore Boston label. But one of the nice and cool things that they do is they'll do very limited runs of shirts and hats. Kind of like Supreme in a way. Like, you know, like how Supreme does like limited runs of all their shirts and like people get, the hype beasts get really hyped about it.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would do. I would transition to limited run shirts. Like you can only get so many of these cool design shirts and then that's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's that scarcity and that, I would argue, exclusivity as well.
Yeah.
That has driven underground culture, especially punk and hardcore and alternative music. I mean, that's the bread and butter of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what started the vinyl boom to begin with too.
Why get the standard Basement B hoodie when you could get like a really cool designed Basement hoodie with like a limited design, like it's only exclusive to like that tour? I'd rather get the tour exclusive shirt that no one else can get.
I agree. And it's and not only does that get you, it gets you your punk points, but that's also it's a smart business strategy for those labels and those artists. And it's, things like this make it hard. They make it harder to do even that, that limited, vinyl pressing or shirt or, hoodie or hat, whatever, is harder to make profitable and to make, interesting and available in the first place when you have these massive artists that just completely stall the pressing plants.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of a downer episode after all the positivity of the Patriots. But yeah, this is the world that we occupy.
Yeah, this is the space that we occupy where we have a tragedy at a music event and record sales are being fucked over by Adele.
It is what it is.
Yes. All right, let's get into some some recommendations. Something a
Let's-
little bit happier.
Let's talk about recommendations.
Oh boy.
Mine is heavily based on my birthday, and I'm very excited to announce to all of our listeners that your boy has leveled up in his adulting game
Oh?
and in his food game. And thanks to my lovely parents, I now have an air fryer. Dan is vigorously shaking his head at me
Because
and I don't care.
I think they're a waste of money.
Dude,
I have one, and it's a waste of money. Although I didn't spend the money on it, but still.
neither did I. But let me tell you, the seasoned curly fries and dinosaur chicken nuggets that I had for dinner tonight were so much better than oven baked. And
No.
I'm never looking back.
No.
Yes.
Like, an oven does everything an air fryer does. You don't need it.
Oh, but this air fryer is not just an air fryer.
It looks like a very fancy one.
It is an air fryer and a toaster and a grill and an oven. It's a dehydrator too. It does all of the things.
Damn. If only we were in college and we had that.
Dude, if we if we had an air fryer in college, I don't think they would have allowed it in the dorms we lived in our freshman year. But I think our freshman 15 would have come like sophomore or junior year because I don't think we would have cooked at home just that much more.
Yeah.
And we probably would have had to deal much less with the gastrointestinal issues that we had eating at Bartell's.
Bartell's and, oh God, what was the place that we went to like pretty much every day?
Wow.
No, not WoW, because that was freshman year. It was like junior and senior year, mostly junior year.
Yeah, that wasn't Wow Cafe. Wasn't that the one with all the like fried chicken?
Oh
and the
yeah, it was
burgers
WoW.
and-
Never
Yeah.
mind. I was thinking of Food on Demand.
Yeah, Food on Demand was good for the first like 2 weeks, and then they got really bad really quickly.
It was so bad.
The only consistently great food on that campus was Sandella's.
But I don't know. Sandella's was okay.
Oh, the chicken fajita quesadilla. I still dream about that thing.
It was a solid like 6.5.
I'd say 7 to 7.5 out of 10. But I could have eaten one of those. I could have eaten one of those quesadillas every day, and I would have been just fine.
Oh man.
They were so good. Just the right amount of spice, the cheesy chicken goodness. Oh god. I want to go back to UNH, and one of the only things that I would do is go straight to Sandella's and be like, all right, it's time to relive the glory days.
Imagine Sandella's isn't there anymore.
I would be sad, not just for my taste buds, but also for all of the kids that live on that campus that would not get to experience the chicken fajita quesadilla.
I mean, I will say this. I realized this weekend because I got Tasty Burger for the first time in a long time.
Oh man, I haven't had Tasty Burger since before the war.
It's really good, and I got that with the fry and onion rings combo. And you know, the fry and onion rings combo was a little too much.
It was. Did it come back to haunt you?
I felt bad. I was like, oh man, I feel like crap.
It's like anytime
I can't eat like
I've
that
ever gone
anymore. I can't eat like that anymore.
Anytime I go to Five Guys, I enjoy it in the moment and then regret it pretty much immediately after.
I walk
It's what
past Five Guys when I go to work or like when I go and get lunch, and I can never bring myself in there. I can't do it. That's a day ruiner.
Shake Shack. I walk by Shake Shack every day, and yeah, Shake Shack is not quite as violent to my system as Five Guys is, but it's not great either.
I like my issue with like Shake Shack. It's really good, but I'm always left feeling hungry afterwards.
Yeah, their burgers are kind of small. Also, for the love of God, Shake Shack, cut the burger bun all the way through.
No, I like
get
that. No, I like that.
I get that you're trying to be fancy, but when your burgers are that greasy, it all just pools into that one little notch of potato bun at the end, and
But-
it's infuriating.
Grease is a condiment, which
Grease is a condiment.
Which-
that's the title of the episode. Grease is a condiment.
it's good, but like
I'm calling it right now.
maybe that's my downfall, and maybe that's why Tasty Burger messed me up on on Saturday. Especially like eating on an empty stomach. Eating that like when you haven't had anything the day before, like the whole day except for like 3 cups of coffee.
I had one of those days today.
Rough. But
You got to like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, I think I'm dying.
that was me. Anyways, air fryer, dumb.
You're wrong.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You're wrong. Fair enough.
Anyways, what do I have for a recommendation? Well, I got a couple. New Pup songs, really good. New Pine Grove songs, really enjoy them. Fantastic. And there is a fantastic tour coming through in the spring. It's Turnstile, who we've talked about, Citizen, who run for cover and they're fantastic.
Yup.
Ceremony, who I haven't seen Ceremony in, I want to say, like close to 10 years at this point, which is insane. I mean, that was, and they're playing in the Palladium, which is that's
gonna be an insane show.
That's insane. And I saw Ceremony in like a 100-cap venue the last time.
Yeah.
So that's a show I'm circling for sure. I can't
Absolutely stacked gig.
I can't wait to go to that one. And well, let me give you Pine Grove's the name of Pine Grove's new songs, because they're also going on tour with a new record, which is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Alaska and Orange. And then Pup, who, I didn't get into until quarantine. And as soon as I heard they were going on tour, especially playing like House of Blues, I was like, I have to get tickets to this. Waiting and Kill Something. So listen to all 4 of those songs and hopefully go to all those gigs.
For sure. We've also, it's worth mentioning on the music tip, I'll go ahead and plug the new Drug Church songs. Drug Church just announced that they're putting out an album called Hygiene, I think early next year, if I remember correctly. And yeah, March 11th, 2022, which checks out with the vinyl delays that we were talking about.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, they have a new single. They have a new single called Million Miles of Fun, which is awesome. And there's a second one. They released 2 songs. They basically released 2 singles. It's not an A-side, B-side thing. They released 2 songs the other day, and they're both awesome. It's like hardcore tinged 90s grunge kind of deal. And yeah, that band is sick. So go listen to the new songs by Drug Church.
Sweet.
Cool. Anything else to add before we say good night?
I think that's it. Like us and follow us on Twitter and Instagram, Packy Run Pod. I know that we're not extremely active, but
we will get back to it. We promise.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Eventually, we'll get this show on the road.
Yeah. But definitely follow us. I believe both of our personal Instagrams and Twitters are in the bios of both of those. So you can follow both of us and see what we're up to, because we post way more on our personal.
It's all memes all the time.
Yeah.
Even when they're not actual memes. So yeah, I think that's about it. We'll catch you guys next time. We'll try and not make it 3 weeks, but we keep saying that and it keeps happening. So whatever.
See you at Christmas.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.